The air raid sirens were the first sign of betrayal, a shrill, whining cacophony that ripped through the pre-dawn darkness. Soldiers, startled from their sleep, scrambled for weapons and armor. Confusion reigned as orders were barked and countermanded. Then the earth itself seemed to tremble, a distant rumble that grew into a thunderous roar. The enemy was upon them. It was a sight that chilled the blood. Rank upon rank of Krieg soldiers, their gas masks resembling skulls in the flickering light of the rising sun. They advanced with the relentless discipline of automatons, seemingly oblivious to the defensive fire that erupted from the trenches. These were no loyal Imperial Guardsmen, but fellow soldiers turned traitors. Their allegiance was to a different banner now, one that promised a twisted vision of order. The defenders, caught off guard but not broken, returned fire with a fury born of desperation. Las beams seared the air, leaving trails of ionized gas in their wake. Heavy bolters roared, spitting explosive death. Yet still the Krieg came on, their ranks seemingly endless. They were willing to pay any price, endure any hardship, to achieve their objective. This was no mere battle. This was a civil war, brother against brother, and the fate of a world hung in the balance. The first wave broke against the defenders' lines like a crashing wave. Close quarters fighting erupted with savage intensity. The air was thick with the stench of sweat, blood, and promethium. The deafening din of battle was punctuated by the screams of the dying. The Krieg, armed with brutal trench weapons and fueled by fanaticism, fought like creatures possessed. The defenders, though outnumbered, fought with the courage of those defending their homes. They knew every inch of the ground, every twist and turn of the trenches, but the Krieg were relentless, their numbers seemingly inexhaustible. For every attacker that fell, two more seemed to take his place. A unit of elite Rogel Dawn armored fist, their faces grim beneath their helmets, led a countercharge. Their power fists hammered into the enemy ranks, crushing bone and metal with equal ease. But the Krieg were prepared. Hidden gun emplacements opened fire, raking the Dawn's ranks with deadly accuracy. One by one, the noble warriors fell, their sacrifices buying precious time for their comrades. The ground shook as a Krieg-armored regiment, spearheaded by monstrous Lehman Russ tanks, rumbled into view. Their guns, belching fire and fury, pounded the defenders' positions. Trenches collapsed, burying men alive. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of cordite. It was then that the Ogrins were unleashed. Towering figures of muscle and rage, they charged into the teeth of the enemy assault. Their heavy stubbers roared, spitting out a storm of lead. Krieg soldiers, no match for the Ogrins in close combat, were torn limb from limb, but the enemy had a new horror in store. Krieg sentinels, their walkers modified to carry massive flamethrowers, stalked across the battlefield. Gouts of liquid fire engulfed everything in their path, incinerating friend and foe alike. The air filled with the screams of the burning, a symphony of agony that echoed across the ravaged landscape. Just when all hope seemed lost, a new sound cut through the din of battle, the distinctive roar of engines growing louder by the second. The defenders, their faces streaked with sweat and grime, looked skyward, and there, silhouetted against the rising sun, was their salvation. Valkyries, their guns blazing, swooped low over the battlefield, unleashing a storm of fire upon the enemy. Reinforcements, fresh and eager for battle, began to disembark. The tide was turning. This was not the end, but perhaps the beginning of the end. A desperate plan was forming in the minds of the surviving commanders. A final all-out charge to break the enemy lines and drive them back. The fate of the world rested on the outcome.